Today we are covering what is QAnon and what is the Great Awakening. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, I start off every one of these episodes by saying thank you to every one of my subscribers. Without you guys, this channel just wouldn't work, so thank you to each and every one of you. If you have not hit that subscribe button already, please come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get published, you'll be notified, because as soon as the information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, hi, and welcome back to some of you who have already seen this episode. It may seem very familiar, but I'm having to remake it now because censorship lives. My video was taken down and blocked worldwide by YouTube after its first run at publishing earlier today. And the best reason I can give you for that is because I played without the sound a clip from a Comedy Central show called this right here. I'm not even going to say its name, but I played this video apparently, and I hope that that little blip in the preview wasn't too much, that I'm not going to get this one blocked worldwide as well. But apparently by playing this in the background while I was speaking, I somehow violated Viacom's monopoly on information that they hold, and they completely control fair use. So, we don't have fair use in this country, and, there's no laws that protect people, when YouTube can allow other companies or parties to just arbitrarily announce that your video should be blocked worldwide because it contains a clip of a show that you're doing a social commentary on as a political commentary, as this is exactly what this show is about. No, the censorship's real. What can I say? All I can say is, thank you to everybody who supports the channel, because it just means that much more work for me, but I don't mind doing it because I'm a patriot. I love my country, and I love bringing you guys the information, which is the truth. And today we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is what is QAnon and the Great Awakening. These are very interesting questions. Now I'm going to treat this like somebody who's coming into this new. I want this video to be able to be shared to people who aren't even aware of what QAnon is, or just this is their first day walking into it, because I want this video to explain some really important things about Q. And I hope that they don't find another way to block this video, because I think it's going to be an important tool to everyone. Even those who are very aware of Q and have been following this for a while, I think you're going to be able to pick up some tidbits that you guys have really been asking for a lot in the comments. And I've been waiting to kind of get to a point where I can put all of it together and present it to you in the form of a video that makes sense, so you guys get an understanding of how QAnon works, what QAnon is, that kind of thing. So first, what is QAnon? Q clearance is the first reference here. Q is the reference to a clearance. It's a security clearance in the government, and it's one of the highest ones. It's usually granted to people at the Department of Energy, and as you can see, it's even above top secret. And if you think about it, that's what we're being suggested is the source of the information that we're being given here on 8chan. And we're going to get into what 8chan is in a little bit too, but I want to start here with Q. So Q is Q clearance. So it's obviously not at first, most people thought Q was just one person, but we've come to realize over time that it's more likely that it's a group of people. And those people who are involved in the higher ranking parts of government, especially who we believe are those in the NSA that are white hats. And for those of you who don't know, a white hat is a reference to somebody who is working for good, and black hat is somebody who's working for evil. So maybe there's NSA white hats who are involved. There's been speculation that people around the Trump team are involved. Even Trump himself has been speculated to be involved in this. And we have proofs of Q that seem to be verified through Trump's Twitter account, President Trump's Twitter account. So there is a lot of evidence to say that whoever this is has a very high rank, has very high clearance, and is working very closely with people who are in the know. And some people who have been referenced quite often throughout this board are people like Admiral Rogers, who is the director of the NSA, and other high-ranking officials who may or may not be involved with the Q, but are certainly involved with trying to get the truth out there. Okay, so what truth are we talking about? Well, quite simply put, there are things out there going on when you look at what happened in DC with this Obama administration ordering the spying on Trump and his campaign, through the FBI, through the Clintons, through Comey and Lynch, and all the way down Yates, McCabe. The pyramid just is so vast, and there's so many facets. We have to take time to examine each and every one of these things. And that's what QAnon does. He takes something like this and breaks it down into what each one of these individuals is particularly guilty of in this conspiracy, this broader conspiracy against the American people, basically. So, and none of this information is verified. So don't take this as verified information. What it is it's given to us in a way that's able for us to understand. So here's an example of what the first post from QAnon was. And it all started on the 4chan boards around October of 2017, October 28th to be exact, where Q posts this message saying that basically Clinton HRC was going to be flagged and she's going to be indicted or going to be put in trial, and the Marines are going to come in and the National Guard is going to be deployed, and so on and so forth. So what you have to understand about Q is that things change. You never know what the true story is because it's meant to give us little bits and pieces, and he gives it to us. There is no classified information here. There is no top secret information that we're getting. What we're getting is statements and questions that are meant to draw a narrative so that we can follow and search and dig and put together research in order to figure out what is going on beneath the surface. So whether it's this with the Obama administration, or you want to go and talk about the connection between Uma Abedin and Hillary Clinton and the Muslim Brotherhood and their plot to infiltrate the U.S. government, or you want to talk about Maxine Waters and what kind of stuff that she may be involved in over there in Southern California, where we know there's a lot of really bad stuff going on, or the connections between the Clintons and people like George Soros and others like Eric Schmidt from Google, the CEOs of Facebook and Twitter and Google and other companies and other millionaires who are involved in some of the most completely out of the realm of believability to a certain extent of what they're being accused of. Everything from your everyday white collar corruption, taking a bribe or something, all the way to alleged child sex exploitation and human trafficking, all the way down. Into the lower levels, if you want to talk about the real things that are being alleged as well, all the way down to child ritual sacrifice, some evil and sick things. And these are all allegations that there's nothing that has been proven yet beyond a reasonable doubt, but there's circumstantial evidence in the mountainfuls that we're sifting through, and that's a part of what Q is. Now, the Anon part obviously means anonymous, for those of you who didn't know. And so it's a Q clearance person who is anonymous, or people who are a group who come to 8chan and post things. And you're saying, well, what is 8chan and what are they doing over there? Well, quite simply put, this is the 8chan Q Research catalog. And 8chan is a place that's just a bunch of internet forums, just a bunch of discussion forums, right? And in order to understand 8chan, you have to understand that this is basically, there's a set, there's a general outline that's like a programmable set of inputs you can do to create a thread on this website, right? And then you make that, and then other people work to make those threads and to keep them going. And then it's just, and everyone anonymously contributes to the source code, which is open, so you can read it and see, this is exactly what we're doing. We're making this and we're putting this up. And there's all types of different terminology and lingo that goes along with people who come here to make the thread boards and to do the research. So what is 8chan? Well, it's, like I said, it's just a bunch of forums. And if you come here to this catalog, you can go through and find everything you want to do on Q Research to talk about Q. And you can see they've pinned these posts to the top. So these are the ones that they think are important to look at first. And I encourage you to come read through it. They have things talking about the authenticity of Q. They have things talking about the how to archive websites, just important things you may need to know. And it goes all the way down to this, where we have the live research boards and so on and so forth, right? So when you come here, you would click whatever you want to go read whatever you want. But what Q usually does is somewhere on this board, he will post. And what does that mean? Well, for instance, now I'm not going to scroll down because you never know. I want to give you a big warning, okay? That when you come to these websites, when you come to something like Q Research, just be forewarned the content is not filtered pretty much at all. And there are moderators who try their best to just remove things that are going to get the boards in trouble to keep them from getting banned from making posts on the internet, because obviously you have to guard for depraved things like just depraved sexual and violent things that get posted that you have to remove in order to keep. Mostly it's dealing with underage children and stuff like that, but I'd never seen any of that on here, thank God. And I can tell you that the things you do see on here are more overly, usually in a graphic nature. Like sometimes there'll be nudes posted and they usually get removed, especially here on the Q research boards. And then there's also other things that are like, just graphic language, racial epithets, so on and so forth. Bigoted comments. However, it's just a mix of things because it's unfiltered. It's everyone having the freedom of speech in real time on the internet, and all you have to do is come here and you can post however you want, right? And now I want to forewarn you though, when you come here like the Q research boards, don't just jump in and start posting. I encourage you all to lurk. And what is lurking? Well, lurking is a very important thing. Imagine what lurking means in real life. It's basically when somebody's following another person trying not to be seen. Well, I encourage every one of you out there who are not familiar with all of this and how this works to become a lurker, which means you can come here and you can read through these boards and you can see what's going on, but there's only so much bread in there's only so much room in each post, I guess you would say, or in each forum. And it's a lot of work to keep making and creating new forums. And that's what this is. It's just a continuous stream of, information that keeps getting made as we go along. So what I encourage everyone to do is to lurk and to come here, and each one of these Q research boards, you're going to actually have this intro to Q. And it's going to have all of Q's latest posts, which are very interesting to look at. It's going to have interesting facts you're going to want to read. Notables are referring to interesting graphics and things like giving you how to spot the clowns and the shills, which are useful things to have, and little bits of knowledge. And then you read through here, and then you have notables. Now, notables, it says there, it's made very clear, notables are not endorsements. What notables are is when you see something that you think is noteworthy on the board, the bakers, the people who are making the bread, which are the forums. The bakers are the technical people who create the code and write it to make the bread, which is the forum that we contribute to. They're the ones who usually spot out, and other people who are involved as well, other notable people, people who are involved with the boards often will point out posts that are notable, right? Now, this is what a post looks like. And you scroll down and it's just many of these posts, and people always come and comment as anonymous because we're all anonymous when we come here. It's not broadly accepted for anybody to use a name besides someone like Q, who comes here and makes drops and under the name Q. And if you are going to make this post, which I encourage you to read everything first and to really think about what you're going to say before you start posting on here, or have been really involved in it for a while, I guess would be another way to really get involved. But nobody's telling you can't. I'm just saying that it helps everyone else out if you don't. I would say always put your name in as anonymous and leave your subject and your email blank. Leave whatever comments you have about what's going on. You can put files here if you want to put in pictures or however. You can even embed videos, and then you just hit this and you can reply. And that's how the board works. It's that simple. So that I just wanted to show you. And then when you go to the catalog, you have all this information here, and that's where Q has been posting. The reason that is important is because this is where the nexus of most of the information is coming from. And there's a lot of great people who work these sites on a regular basis that really need a shout out if you think how amazing it is, the work that they do. But going back to what QAnon is and what the Great Awakening is, well, these are names and monikers that are given to the new renaissance of information that's coming out, where there are people online who are becoming enlightened to the globalist, Luciferian, pedophiles, Satanists, who have been running and have controlled some of the largest institutions in our country. They've taken over the banking systems, and they've taken over the government. What we talk about on here, on this channel, and then on the QAnon boards, what Q talks about is the corruption, the everything from the corruption to the basically evil. Because some of the things that we talk about that have happened, even though they're not pleasurable subjects to discuss, if they are actually taking place, we would want to know about them so we could shine a light on them, because there's some real depraved things that are being suggested that are going on behind the scenes with the elite and what they're into, whether they're into this just corruption and all the way down to rituals and pedophilia. These things all in the spectrum, the spectrum of the crimes, it doesn't matter. They're all being exposed one by one, and they're all basically linked to one another. Because the analogy I used at the beginning, that I thought was an important analogy to use in this, was talking about how why is all this being uncovered, and why Luciferianism, why Satanism, why pedophilia, why were these things the ones that the elite seem to be the most drawn to? And the simple answer to that is, I don't even know that they're necessarily drawn to it. I think it's a system that was thought up by a lot of very devious people who had the idea that, they're going to go indulge in these things. And then if they can get enough people compromised through having them indulge in those sick, disgusting, perverted, awful, evil things, then they can use that as blackmail. And they've apparently, from what Q's told us and other reports that we've seen coming out from other various sources, it would seem that the allegations right now being made broadly, publicly, and privately to a degree here on boards like this where it's not as public, would be that they've been compromised. It's a form of control. It's a tactic of blackmail. And that some of these people have gotten involved in it to the point where it has become systemic and problematic in an institutional sense, where we have so many people who are involved in this kind of evil that it has become necessary to actually try to expose how vast and broad it is. And even Q has said before, whoever Q is, they've said to us that they can't even expose it all, because the truth of the matter is that if they expose it all and they expose the roots of the evil all the way up to the top, that some people, it could cause irreversible damage that we can't sustain as a country. We can't risk sustaining as a country. You see how bad the censorship is. It's because they're trying to hide something. And what would they put that much effort into hiding? Well, it would seem a lot of very, very disturbing things. So I'm going to give you guys some resources too. First of all, you guys have seen, if you guys want to go to a good site, come over here to qanon.pub. And you can go all the way down, you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and that's from the beginning. You have all the posts there. You can read through them and get an idea of what is going on from day one. There's a lot of information there if you want to start combing through that. Also, never mind what you hear in the press, because they're trying to play this off as QAnon being some kind of Pizzagate. And Pizzagate wasn't even really a thing. Like, to me, whatever that is was a distraction to a degree. There is real pedophilia going on. There's real human trafficking rings that need to be addressed and are being addressed, and people are being arrested. But that was blown up and then dismissed by the press as being conspiracy theory, when we know that if you, maybe, I don't know, because I don't have I don't know, all the facts. I'm not, omnipotent or omniscient, but I can tell you right now that it would seem that what was being exposed by Pizzagate was far more than just talking about some pizzeria somewhere. It's like, okay, no, it's talking about the pedophilia. It's talking about the terms that are used, the pizza term and the ice cream terms and the walnut sauce terms that we saw in the WikiLeaks email that made us really lift an eye and go, what in the world? Reading through Podesta's emails and just trying to understand what was going on in that sick man's mind, in my opinion. That's what it was, right? So that is certainly something to be considered. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Now, if you want another great resource, I encourage you all to come over here. It's qanon or qmap.pub, right? That's qmap.pub. And you come over here. This is a great source. You get all the posts, but you can also do something which I think is cool. They track all the resignations here, and you can also look at all the players. So if you want to get like kind of up to date on who's who and what's what, so when you read through the post, it'll explain who each one of these people are, right? So when Q says ES, he's talking about Eric Schmidt, right? When he talks about ADMR, Admiral R, he's talking about Admiral Rogers, and so on and so forth. It gives you a good idea of what the Q is. And I think this is a great tool for everyone to come check out as well if you want to follow and start contributing in your own way. Keep contributing in the comments. You'll be more informed. You'll have more to discuss. So definitely come here and check all of this out if you want to be informed even further on what's going on with the Q Collective. Now, here's another example of things you can find on the Q research boards, any one that you pick. It doesn't really matter. But you can basically find these put-togethers, which will be like a week's worth of Q from day one, and they're larger. Some people like to look at it this way. Some think that helps them. Others, like to read them as they come one by one. So if you want them in aggregate, this is all attainable. You just have to come over to the Q research and you can get it right very easily. It's in the top of every Q research board. So that is basically gonna wrap it up for the Q. What is QAnon video? Now, I know I missed a lot of things, guys. So before you start going down the comments and saying, well, you missed this and you missed that, I really want the comment board on this video to be something even different than all the other ones we ever had. I want everyone to contribute their own input on what QAnon is and what tools you can use to research further. I want this to become a video where people can go and then they can scroll down at the end here and they can read what other people have to say about Q. Obviously there's going to be people that is free to have their own opinion, and I'll try to comb the boards as best I can so that there's no there's no chatter that's not helpful. I want it to be basically resources and information and things that you guys can contribute that I may not have covered in this video, because trust me, I know there's so much more to this issue. I'm not trying to undersell it. I'm not trying to make it simple, but I want this to be to act as a simple introduction to those who don't know about Q, because ultimately the whole point here is to give information, to share information, and to create a dialogue with one another so that we can continue to analyze not just what Q is, not focusing on Q, but focusing on the things Q is bringing to our attention more overly, which I will continue to do whether Q is posting or not. This channel is dedicated to covering information that the mainstream media won't cover, and covering the things that are going on behind the scenes that we have to keep an eye on and stay on top of, because if we don't stake our control over the government will stake its control over us. And I think that that's a true patriot's duty, is to continually question and continually expose what they can, even with the censorship that comes along the way. So I could thank everybody for contributing and helping out the channel, but when they block your video, it's basically saying they don't want this content up there. Because I could sit here and complain about it all day, but I didn't even play. I played the video in the background, and it wasn't even playing the sound. I was literally speaking over it. So, but I guess fair use doesn't apply to me, because I'm just not as big as Viacom. They're just going to shut my voice down as soon as I have anything to say that they don't agree with. So, but please support this channel, and that's going to be basically it for this. But if you want to find a way to contribute and support the channel, the easiest way to do it is to come here to this landing page. If you have not hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. The second best way, my favorite way, is for you to scroll down and leave your comments, your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comment board, because we try to have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos so we can continue to expand the dialogue of what Q's talking about, analyzing it and trying to get the truth out there. So, and as I said before, I want this particular comment board to be a really great, useful resource for everyone who's interested in finding out more information about Q. So please go down there and leave helpful information if you can about Q. Anything you can think of that you want to contribute, I encourage you to go down, and especially if you can't contribute, scroll down. You're definitely going to learn something in the comment board of this video that you did not know before. So that's a great way. Another great way is to come over here and find me on Twitter. Twitter is a great forum for spreading this information. All my videos automatically get posted here. I have the video that got taken down pinned here, and I'm sure I've gotten a lot of comments of people commenting on that. But yeah, there's the explanation, is because I was blocked worldwide for playing a video in the background. But that's okay, because I took that, and I'm gonna, I guess, remove the video. I'll delete it, and I'll just post this video, and problem solved. Right? Hopefully they won't try to shut this video down. But come follow me at Justin_formed on Twitter, and you can contribute. That would be a great way to do it. But if you're looking for a way to financially contribute, I really appreciate that. And as I said, censorship's real. I need all the help I can get. Obviously, if they're going to start shutting down my videos so I can't even put up videos, I'm going to really need your help over here. But come over here to Patreon. That's patreon.com. You can search Justin Form Talk. You'll come here to this page, click this button to become a patron. Whatever you contribute helps. You can get rewards for helping, and you can check out my goal. But it certainly is appreciated, and it helps me. I don't know what to say besides thank you, and God bless every one of you who can come here and contribute. And even if you can't, God bless you, and thank you because you're here watching, and that makes a difference too, just watching the videos. So thank you so much for that. And we're going to leave with talking about one thing before we go, and that is the most important thing, as usual. And what is that? Well, the most important thing in life, in my belief, is God. Now, Q is exposing this evil. These people on earth here who are basically just committing evils. And it's not, there's not even as much anger in my heart at this point because I've been covering this for so long. There's more of just frustration, but then that frustration is taken away by God's grace and ability to heal one's heart. And now all I feel is this contentment in knowing that by me speaking the truth, I'm contributing to expose the evil that exists out there. And just rest assured that when you guys do that, you'll be doing the same thing. So sharing this video and getting the information out there is really helpful. And but first and foremost, sharing God's word. Sharing the grace of God, sharing how each one of us has had Jesus die on the cross for our sins so that our eternal souls can be saved. That's the most important thing. And I really encourage each and every one of you to go out and spread the word of God as far as wide and as wide as you can. And remember that we're fighting against evil here. These people are evil. They're not just stupid, they're evil. And these are quotes from Q boards, if you guys don't know. And just pulls me back to this one verse that Q left us with. And Q has mentioned God several times, and I believe that Q and those around them are definitely men and women of faith. And one of the more prominent ones that they left I thought was very important. And I'm going to read it to you real quick, and I want to talk about it for 1 second after, and then I'll let you guys go. But it's Jeremiah 29, verse 11, and it says, "For I know the plans I have for you." This is the Lord's declaration. Plans for your welfare, not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. Well, that is the plans that the Lord has for you. And he has them for each and every one of you. And believing in God is the most important thing. Everything that we cover here, the evil, the depravity, the horrible nature of what we're sometimes having to look at in our investigations, that all is going to be a part of God's plan to be exposed, because we are bringing light to the darkness. We are fighting evil with good. We are working every day to contribute to the world becoming a better place, a safer place, a more godly place. Let's go out there and be warriors of God. Let's go out there and be the warriors of truth. Let's let those things guide us. Let's let God's wisdom guide us. Let's let God's strength fortify our will. Let's let God's courage give us the ability to stand up and speak out. And let's not let those who are in control, who have the power and the means and the capabilities to shut us down, to shut our voices down, to keep us from sharing and continuing God's message out there and then continuing to tell the truth and to expose the evil. Let's not let them shut us down, because for the most part, a lot of those people are the ones who are involved in these things, and they would like nothing more than to keep us quiet. So if you want to learn more about Q, continue to come back to this channel. Make sure you hit this subscribe button if you haven't yet. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. Remember, God's grace is greater, and it will overcome this evil that is existing here in our time. And we just have to trust in Him and pray to Him and look to Him. Open our heart to God and let the light of God come in so that we may shine it out to the world. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. This has been Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.